Hello and thank you for tuning in. This video is focused on a follow-up review of the Xero H-Trail huarache style toe post sandal. I recently did a review on these. I believe that I got one of the very first pair off the production line because I did receive these very early in the year as a wear tester versus maybe getting them closer to the launch date as a reviewer. For my initial review, I had used them quite a few times and had gotten some miles in them, but at the C&O Canal 100 mile race, April 27th and 28th, I was able to put the new H-Trails through a rather extreme wear test, and they did fantastic. Spoiler alert, I finished the race, got the buckle, and my 29th official finish at the 100 mile distance. I was very pleased, even though it was my slowest finish at that particular race. It was my 8th time entering that race and 8th time finishing. While I set out to not only finish the C&O Canal 100, a sub goal was to go the entire distance in the new toe post H-Trail from Xero shoes. And in planning that, I kept a pair of Injinji toe socks in my vest, and we had 2 drop bags at the race. So one drop bag had a pair of Xero Z Trails, just in case I was having any issues with the new lacing system, and the other drop bag had a pair of 1/2 size up large Xero HFS road shoes. The race became challenging for me for a couple of reasons. One, I kind of had a sour tummy for probably at least 50 miles from, say, mile 10 through 60-ish. And when that happens, my pace gets really slow. But what caused issues with regard to the footwear was that the trail is mostly, it looks like ground up concrete or ground up blacktop in different areas. Some sections of the trail are kind of darker, others are lighter gray, like it's gravel. It's very finely ground gravel, almost sandy. And we had about 4 hours of rain, some of which was pretty heavy. So what ended up happening to my feet was, initially it was dry, so my feet got covered in dust. But when the rain kicked up, the sand and small gravel would get hung up inside the laces. So effectively, the lacing became like sandpaper. And so I was every so often having to kind of reach down and try to brush the grit out of the lacing. By mile 59, I was ready to either add a pair of socks or switch to the HFS shoes, and decided to clean my feet off a little bit and put the Injinji toe socks on to finish out the race. So mile 59, 60 through 100, I did wear toe socks, and that did do the job. I had some minor red spots on my feet here and there where the lacing rubbed the skin too much, so I didn't switch to the socks anytime too soon. Because I probably had some of the very first H-Trails off the production line, I had an issue with one sandal, the left foot. Not sure if you can see this. There's some fuzzy fabric right there. At the Pistol 100, I was having some issues with some skin abrasion at that spot. And what I discovered was that just scraping that with my fingernail after the race, I was able to get what I think was a little bit of bad stitching moved and softened up right there. So once I got that figured out, I was confident that I could go way beyond 20 miles or a 50K in this particular sandal. Initially I was thinking I just didn't have the lacing tension quite figured out. So anyways, was happy to get that figured out. In terms of tips for running 100 miles in something like this, first thing I would say is, again, always have backup socks just in case, and always put some sort of lubricant. I tend to use Body Glide brand skin protectant, but I rub it on pretty thick on the insides of all the lacing, anywhere it's going to connect to my skin. That's great for breaking in to a new pair of sandals, which is generally more about your body breaking into the sandal versus the sandal getting broken into the foot. And in the case of the C&O Canal 100, I did not even bring any trekking poles, but if the course were one that were more technical and more muddy, I would have brought one trekking pole to help me get through the tight, rough, slippery spots. The H Trail has 4 key places where you can adjust the laces custom for your foot. I'm still not 100% sure I've got this mastered, but the first thing you can do is with this piece of plastic here, you can adjust the length of this toe post, and then over on the outside you can adjust the tension here, and yet again on the other side, inside of the foot, there's this Velcro piece you can adjust, and then on the heel strap yet another Velcro piece that you can adapt. So as snug as I could get these on my feet, they still feel fairly loose and they're just sort of floating around down there. Now that I know I can cover that course for 100 miles in the H Trail, I plan to go back next year and probably try the Xero Scrambler Low just to compare, see how that feels on my feet, and if I go faster. On the H Trail, the lacing system was excellent. The upper felt good on my feet for the first 59 plus miles with no socks, and even with all that rain. The outsole was fantastic. We did do some up and down on a technical trail, and you know, I felt like the grip was what you'd expect in a trail sandal. It was very good. So I highly recommend the Xero H Trail, whether you're a walker, hiker, beach bum, errand runner, or even ultra marathoner. This is a fantastic tool for your footwear toolbox. Anytime you decide to adopt a more minimalistic or barefoot way of moving more naturally, just take it super slow, really be tuned in to the feedback from your body, and just very discriminately increase your time and distance in something like this. If you're already running long distances and doing speed work or whatever, you might be able to adapt even quicker, but it's an individualized issue with how much time it would take to say run 100 miles in a pair of sandals like this. Quick disclosure, Xero Shoes did provide these complimentary in return for some wear testing feedback, and then also for me to do a review as an affiliate partner where I could earn referral fees if people use my link to Xero Shoes. And as always, the C&O Canal 100 was a beautiful, fast, scenic course, very well organized, fantastic aid stations. This year I think was the first year for a tech hat, at least my first year. I did miss a couple years due to family scheduling. This year was the 11th annual C&O Canal 100. Of course, I highly recommend the race as a first 100-mile event or just a great excuse to visit a beautiful area. We stayed an extra day in the Harper's Ferry area before and after the race, hiking the Appalachian Trail, etc. It's just a gorgeous area, very historically significant. Hard to say too many good things about it. So thanks to Xero shoes and other things, I was able to recover pretty quickly from this race. Just did a 97th lifetime blood donation today, and looking forward to the tie-dye 50K in Yellow Springs at the John Bryan State Park next Saturday. And probably will use the Xero Scrambler lows there because I just love the way they feel on a really rough technical course.